Day morning, scholars. So today we're going to continue researching the problem that you have chosen. And again, kudos to each of you for choosing unique and interesting problems. I've been very pleased with the selections that have been sent to me. So today we're going to continue researching that problem. So if you look at yesterday's situation here, you're looking at why it's problematic, kind of looking at the background, what causes the problem, or who and what does it impact. Today, as you are continuing your research, I mentioned yesterday, one of the most important things about research is making sure that you are keeping yourself organized. So as you can see, today we're going to start thinking about getting this research into APA format, because if we slowly build this paper as we go, in the end, boom, it'll be all done for you. So if you just follow along, as we go through things, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up this section of the APA essay. So we're not going to go over everything today. We're just going to talk about the section that we are currently working on, okay? And if you look forward to tomorrow, Wednesday the 13th, two things. Number one, you have the day to continue researching and getting that section situated. You're going to turn in that section by the end of the day. I also have my office hour tomorrow between 1 and 2. So if you have any questions tomorrow about any of this, jump on the Zoom tomorrow and I'll give you all that information and we could talk about it there. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to get into your Google Docs. When you open a Google Doc, you will see that, whoops, sorry about that. You will see that you have all these options for different types of templates. We are going to focus on the APA template. So if you click on that, and this is so nice, I can't express enough how nice this is. These templates weren't around. I hate to sound like an old person, like back in my day, but back in my day, when we were writing APA papers in college and such, these kind of things did not exist. So we want to make sure that we're utilizing all of the help that we have that's available. So we're not formatting any of this today. So we're going to scroll down. We'll be talking about the title page and the abstract and all of that, but we're not talking about that today. We're concerned with the first page of actual information. But we're also not working on the introduction just yet, okay? We are going to set up this section, okay? So this section, what this is right here where it says method, this is called a level 1 heading. And for the section that we're working on, we're going to call this level 1 heading. We're going to get rid of that one and make sure that we format things so it is centered, it is bold, but it's still a 12-point Times New Roman font. And we are going to call this section the problem. Okay, pretty simple, right? So we're not worried about any of this Latin or anything like that because we're not working on that section. But this section is going to focus on the problem. So what's nice about APA research format is it is built specifically for research. And so when you're writing an MLA essay or you're writing a narrative or something like that, you have to worry about transitioning between ideas, transitioning between paragraphs. And what's nice is with APA, you really don't have to worry about that because everything is sectioned off by these level 1 and level 2 headings. And those are the only headings that we are going to be concerned with. So we're going to put the problem there. And then this is a level 2 heading. And we're going to call this heading the background. Or you could call it causes or whatever you want to focus on, right? And in this section, so you're going to include all that information about the background, why it's a problem. So you might even want to break this up some more. So this might be background and causes, and this one might be why it's problematic. It's all really based around what you find in your research, okay? And we're going to include one more level 2 heading. So it is out to the margin, it is bold, and we're going to call it who or what it impacts, right? So this is essentially what I've had you research, right? So now we're going to take that research and we are going to break it down into this level 1 heading and then these level 2 headings that are going to specifically hold the information from each of those subtopics. So obviously you're going to get rid of the Latin that is here. And within this, of course, you might have more than one paragraph going on, right, within each of these sections, but these are the sections that you are working with today, right? So we get in here, it's tabbed in, you type your information about your problem, making sure, again, that you are focusing on keeping your information organized. So don't forget, with APA formatting, when you are citing a source in text citations and the reference page are both going to be important. So if you have a direct quote, right? Here's a direct quote. COVID is a drag, right? That's a direct quote. A drag, not a drig. And so an in-text citation always follows immediately a direct quote. So you're going to put the author's last name. Oh my, I'm not awake yet. And the year of publication. Now, since it's a direct quote, if this came from an actual newspaper, journal article, book, something with real page numbers, you would also include the page number here, okay, if there is one. If you are working with a web page or something like that, there's no real page numbers, you're not going to include a page number, okay? And your punctuation always goes outside the end of those parenthetical marks. So what happens if you're not using a direct quote? Well, if you're not using a direct quote, then you're going to be summarizing or paraphrasing the information you got from the source. And at the end of that information, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put that in-text citation at the end of the paragraph, the sentences, whatever it is that came from that information, that particular source. And if you're working on something, so say you're working on this background and you've read information from 2 sources and you now want to combine those 2 sources into one paragraph because the 2 sources were both talking about the background and the causes, but they both had equally good but a little bit different information, and so you've taken them and you have put that and summarized that into your own words. At the end of whatever you're writing in that paragraph or whatever it may be, then you're going to do the same thing. So perhaps one is POTS 2020. All you're going to do is put a semicolon and then you'll put the other one. So maybe it's Rogers 2017, right? So the semicolon indicates that there is another source that was referenced here. And all these in-text citations do is lead your reader to the references page where they can find all the information that they need to look up this source themselves. And that is the purpose of all of that, okay? So you're going to do this as you research for all of the research that you're doing in this problem section. So if we go back to this, remember why it's problematic, the background to the problem, the causes, and who or what it impacts, right? So depending on what you find and the relevant information to your particular problem, you are going to name your level 2 headings appropriately, okay? Now, if you would like, just so things don't get confused, we're actually going to, you can actually delete all of this, level 3, 4, 5. We're not working with any of that. And here's why. Make sure you unbold yourself. We're not working with any of that because that's for more significant research. So if you were conducting your own original study where you had participants and methodology and you were finding information and gathering data and explaining it and giving all that sort of information, that's when all of those other levels come into play. For our purposes here, level 1 and level 2 is all we're worried about. So this is what you want your APA template to look like at this point. Tomorrow, by the end of the day, you're going to turn this in and it's going to look like this. It's going to have none of this completed yet because we're not working on that yet. but all you're going to have is this section completed with your level 1 information all about your problem. And then we'll continue on from there, okay? So that is what I wanted to show you today, so that as you continue your research, you can start to plop it into this format. So like I said, it just builds off of itself, and hopefully at the end of this, it's very easy for you to finalize everything and get it turned in, okay? So your job by the end of the day tomorrow is to finish the research for this section. Should you get ahead of the game, by all means, you can see on the project outline what you're looking for, as we start to look for solutions, right? If you go back up here, it talks to you about what you're looking for the solutions. So you are more than welcome to start looking into those potential solutions should you find yourself a little bit ahead. That is not a problem at all, okay? So that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions, please send me an email, and we will talk again soon. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.